Guys, I have very full confidence that NIO stock could double by the end of 2025, by the end of this year. However, our path to getting there could be a little bit treacherous. Let me first outline why it's going to double and also outline why there could be a final dip. All right. And of course, none of this is financial advice. This is just based on the numbers and what's happening. So why am I so confident that the stock will double? Well, I think the doubling really plays into the latter half of this year, okay? When you have the Onvo L70 launched, and of course you also have the newer NIO 3.0 vehicle models and NIO 2.5 vehicle models launched as well. Those will really boost sales going forward. And NIO has also targeted sales doubling for this year, and most of that will hinder on and rely on the latter half of this year with all those new vehicle models coming out and really boosting the numbers. Right now, NIO's vehicle models are a little bit, I wouldn't say old, but not new. Okay, so when that comes along, L70 along with the L60, and then you have the NIO's new ES7, the new ES8, and then the new ET5 and ET5T, all on the NT 2.5 with horizontal screens, their own processor chip, gonna boost margins because they don't have to buy chips from NVIDIA. And of course, if you watched NVIDIA's press conference recently, they actually did not have NIO's logo on the auto partners. So that's because NIO's working on their own chip, right? So that's going to really help boost margins and really turn things around. They're going to be trying to get profitable in 2026, and I'm pretty confident that they're going to be profitable in 2026. So the cash burn situation is going to improve dramatically over this year, right, going into 2026. And by the end of this year, I do expect NIO stock to double from where it is right now, and I'll have a fairly conservative price target of $10 a share by the end of this year. Okay, that's my personal price target. Now, our route to getting that price target is a little bit treacherous. Okay, I do believe that there's going to be a final dip going on, and most of that is based on the balance sheet. Okay, so based on the most recent earnings report, which we got, which was the Q3 2024 earnings report, NIO had about 8.1 billion US dollars in current liabilities. And if you guys don't know what current liabilities are, that's stuff that's due within a year, within a fiscal year. Okay? So they got to pay like 8.1 billion in all sorts of random stuff, whether it's like payments or inventory and paying suppliers, all that kind of stuff. And also bonds that are due, 8.1 billion, pretty staggering amount of current liabilities. Of course, they can maybe have newer bonds, borrow some more money, and then push this back further. That's of course possible. But if you look at their current cash position, 6 billion, and then you have a current quarterly burn rate of about 700 million, that's what they burned in Q3. They burned 700 million US dollars. So if you take that into consideration, they're probably looking at around 5.3 billion US dollars in cash and cash equivalents as of the start of 2025. And then they also have all that stuff that's due, within one fiscal year from the end of September. So that means they have like, they probably need to get some more money. Okay, they probably have to get some more money. I don't think dilution is the right way. They're probably not going to dilute because at these prices, dilution would be suicidal. It will completely destroy investor confidence. But they will probably get some outside money from maybe the Abu Dhabi guys, the CYVN, or maybe some other outside investor. And partially, a lot of people have been saying that the great sales performance that they've been recently having in Q4, all that is to tell a great story to the outside investors for them to invest. And of course, Firefly, Onvo, these are all great stories to convince outside investors to inject some more money. And I think it's going to be like some other convertible note to push back these liabilities, okay? So there's that going on, right? So another sort of fundraising is kind of inevitable, okay? So there's going to be some more cash coming in, which is good, okay? At what expense? We don't know yet. We'll know sooner or later, okay, when that happens. And on top of that, well, how should I put it? When NIO stock was 60, well, some of you guys have been saying, hey, Mr. P, you've been pumping NIO stock for the past 3-4 years. I guess clearly you haven't seen all my videos. I've made several videos which have been very controversial. Like when NIO stock was at 60, I warned that there's a gap at 22, that we might potentially go down to 22, and that was like a third of the stock price. And people were like, no way, it can't go down to 22. And it did indeed fill that gap. All right? It's not like I didn't create that gap. It wasn't my fault. I'm just pointing that out. Right? There's a gap over there. It's like there's a hole in the ground. Right? I didn't put that hole there. It's just there. Okay? I'm just saying, hey, it's there. And then, well, we went to 22, and then I also said, hey, look, there's a gap down at 13. We might potentially go down to 13. Boom, 13. And what was the next gap below that? 8. I said 8. We could possibly go down to 8. And people were saying, no way NIO stock goes down to 8. If NIO stock goes down to 8, I'll tattoo your name on my butt. And of course, we went down to 8, right? The next one was 5. And where are we right now, right? So it's not like I want this to happen. No. I do not want this to happen, okay? It's just that the hole is there. I'm just saying, hey, look, it's over there. Don't be blind. It's there, okay? Now, are there any more holes going forward? Unfortunately, there is, okay? There's another gap at 2.55. Not my fault that it's there. I didn't create that gap. It's just there. I seriously hope that we do not get down there, but it could possibly fill that gap. I'm just saying it could happen, okay? There's a hole in the ground. It could get filled. It's just what it is, okay? I certainly hope we do not go down there, okay? But if we do, then you're looking at a potential 4x for the end of this year to get to my price target of $10 per share. That's even more lucrative. So when can we see this all play out? So I've outlined that most of the bullishness will probably happen in the latter half of this year, but some of the the final dip, so to speak, could happen in the early half of this year. Okay, before the new products come out, and well, by the time if we see some sort of new fundraising, and depending on how the market reacts, if the market's like, yay, we got more money, and it's kind of unfair how like when Tesla does these kind of fundraisers and they dilute and they inject more money into Tesla, everybody's like, yay, this is good, and then it's bullish for the stock. But then when it comes to NIO, it's like all of a sudden, So it depends on how the market reacts to this. If we do get a dilution or some sort of new fundraising, okay, I wouldn't say dilution. So we'll have to see. So we could have a final dip. That's all I'm saying. We could, not we will. We could. All right, we could. But I'm still very confident. $10 per share by the end of this year. On the contingency that sales do double compared to last year. Most of that will play out in the latter half of this year. So earlier half of this year, we could see some more sort of like going down little action. We could, or we could not. I hope we don't, right? And then afterwards, we're off to the races. And going into 2026, once we reach profitability, and if they do get profitable, then we'll see bye-bye to single-digit prices forever. Yeah, it's going to be double digits and going forward, even higher triple digits. Long-term, $650 per share. But that's the final dip scenario. Really, really pay attention to the current liabilities, okay? 8.1 billion US dollars. Yeah, that's quite a lot. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.